everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
It's time to say hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of our training. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Good news is I'm nervous, not as nervous as the first day. So it's going to be a great day. So I want to jump in and let's get started. Okay, so for those who are new joining us today, because I know there's a few people that were so excited about seeing the replay and are so excited to join us today, I'm going to do a little introduction again myself. My name is Alexa. I am an advocate of the Learn Through Play movement. I am passionate in teaching others how to teach their children at home using the power of play and helping them reach milestones. And I just realized I am not sharing my presentation. You've been looking at my face. So I do this by promoting creativity, wonder-based activities through art, sensory, and nature. And today we're really going to target those 3 things. So I'm gonna share with you my presentation. At this time, let's make sure you are here. Toddlerhood, it's the new, what is it? Toddlerhood is the new, I know, teenagers. The teenagers are the new teenagers, yeah. So let me make sure we are here. You are here because you want to teach your children at home. You want to promote their creativity and wonder. You want to raise them to be secure and confident. You want them to reach milestones expected for their age, and we want to get them ready for pre-K. So are you ready? And if I could have a wish, is that every kid's childhood is full of play to become happy, confident adults that have a drive to learn. And this is exactly why I created my own Learn Through Play method. And I wish today that you get a little glimpse of that. I will be sharing you some of those insights and the way that I see life and I see learning through play. So I want to show you what is exactly possible, what has been possible for myself and for my students. And we have done this by buying less supplies, by doing less prep activities, and to just really have some fun. So if I can do it, they can do it, you can do it too. So welcome to day 2. So let's review a little bit of Monday. If you are in the chat, were you here Monday? Did you catch the replay? If not, you need to watch that because today we're going to be building up upon what we talked about it. So on Monday, we talked about the importance of adding play into our life because mamas need to play too. We learned that, creating routines and schedules need to be taking into account our energy level so that we can provide those activities. So we created pockets of play, right? So we created these little openings in our day where we can do activities. And today we're going to fill up those pockets. So yes, cut the replay. Okay, so that means you know what I'm talking about. So tell me about it. Did you do the homework? The homework, here's the teacher. Did you do the homework? Did you had a chance to really analyze and identify a few patterns? Did you discover anything new about your energy level or your daily rhymes of things that you were already doing and didn't realize you had this kind of rhyme going on? Let me know in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So I'm going to drink water while you guys give me your feedback. I'm still to finish. It's okay. And that's why we're doing these trainings like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that we have time to do the homework, to catch on the replays, to rewatch and take notes, because I heard some of you guys were doing that. It's about taking it easy. We do have a life outside of this, and we need to balance it all out. Morning, yes. So Sandy says, yes, morning low energy and afternoon high energy for my 16-month-old. Good. I'm just joining for Nigeria. Oh, we are international people. We're going around the world. We're taking over the world and making sure every child has play in their life, and the mamas. I have more energy in the mornings than in the afternoon, says Mare. So I do activities for my daughter according to my energy and hers. Good students. Yes. Karina says that I have high energy in the morning and low in the evenings. Marsha says, yes, high in the morning, low afternoon, especially with hot Miami sun. Yes, the weather has been definitely affects our energy. So that is awesome. Hi from Costa Rica. Ooh, I want to go to Costa Rica. We are international people. I did not realize that. This is amazing. You don't understand how happy this makes me, because I have a message of play, a message of making it simple. And the fact that you guys are willing to listen and learn just filled my heart. So I really thank you. I appreciate you being here. So we are halfway through our challenge. We are on day 2. And we will tackle something each day. So we talked about organizing our days. Today is going to be a lot of activity ideas and things that you can do to make it so much simpler and easier. And then day 3, we're going to kind of put everything together, because we're not going to do random activities for the day just to fill up the time. We're going to play with a purpose, and that's going to be on Friday. So my method has worked even for the non-crafty parents. Sometimes when you think about sensory play and slime and you open your Instagram and Pinterest, all you see are these like perfect Pinterest looking crafts. And I'm going to be honest, I am a crafty person, but my craft looked like a kindergarten. Like it's not HGTV crafty things. Like I cannot do that stuff. So I used to be it used to put me down, because I mean, I was crafty, but not that crafty. So I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be crafty to make it work. Just the same as you don't have to know how to sing to be able to sing to your kids. Sometimes we don't sing to our kids because we're like, but I don't know how to sing. Listen, I don't know how to sing, and I sing in front of parents, in front of teachers. I've done events, even on TV, but thank goodness they didn't put that part on the TV. But I did sing on camera. So you don't have to. I'm getting away. So I'm going to share with you. These are two really fun stories, because we have healthy mommy Amanda. Amanda she doesn't consider herself crafty, doesn't even know glue in her house, which was so sad. I had to give that to her because poor child. And so she's like not crafty, doesn't know anything crafty, but she makes the best zucchini muffins in town. And she was able to set up a simple water bin activity that kept her child engaged for 45 minutes. She couldn't believe it. She was like 45 minutes, like it was a record for her. And it was just water. Water is awesome. And then I have on the other hand, Monica. I don't know if any of you can relate to Monica, but Monica has 6 kids. Okay. Monica doesn't own a TV. No. So Monica has 6 kids, but during this time, she had 4 kids on this picture. And she was able to set up one sensory bin with things she had already in her kitchen. It was like stale cornmeal, I think it was. And she just grabbed some toys from her kids' playroom, and they were engaged. All ages, different ages. They all interacted differently, but they were all very engaged. So, like I said, if they did it, and they're not crafty, and they have 6 kids at home, you and me that have 1 or 2, we got this. We can do this. So just like them, we all started at point 0. We all just needed a little guidance. We can take over the world. Okay, the teach your child world, right? I can't do that all. So let's explore today how we can add a little more play into our days, presenting activities that will foster independence, have their drive to learn, like, and foster that drive to learn, that are easy to set up, and that they work side to side with our home responsibilities. Like, I think that's one of the things that I love the most today. So side note, I have so much information in my brain. I actually had to create a full program to teach you all. Like, when I started to share my ideas, I'm like, I need to put this in order. I need to help parents that are just starting. And the way that it turned out, it became this full year school year program. And that's the Here We Go program, which we'll talk about more at the end, and we'll talk about more tomorrow for those that need that extra support. But just know that my whole brain is there and it's continuously be dumping in there. But I love to teach what I learn, and I love to teach you ways to make your life simpler. So today we're going to have our little blue box, and we're going to open it up and we see what's in store for us to make our days easier. And what is a party without a goodie bag at the end, right? It's like the perfect party. It's a party gift. So if you stay until the end, you will receive today's gift. And at this time, I'm going to announce that if you didn't download the gifts from Monday, they are no longer free, and they are available, but they're no longer for free. So today we have new gifts. You have until Friday to open those, to download those, and at least put them into your account so that you get them for free. Oh yeah, but you gotta make it to the end, okay? Or watch the replay. Okay, I'm gonna do a little break. But I have to prep a lot of the activities. Okay, we're gonna talk about energy and activities today and cleanup. So I teach better when I can relate to my own past life, the struggles, the pain. And I want to share with you how I made my life easier, better through all the learnings. So story time. Once upon a time, welcome to my fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was an Alexa that would sit in the playroom and Google literally how to entertain my 6-month-old, because he started moving already. And I was like, what do I do with you? You don't talk, and what am I supposed to do with you? Then feeling guilty for spending time Googling things instead of paying attention to him and playing with my son. So a lot of mom guilt was happening. So I just didn't know how to play with him. So I would read suggestions like, go paint. But why? I'm tired. That seems like a lot of trouble. I mean, I did it. Cute. Put him in a bin so that the paint stays in the bin. That's tip number 1. Put him in the bin. But I didn't understand why I was doing this. Like, what was the point of go paint? So I tried the print and go curriculums, downloaded them, got all excited, only to find there were 700 colorful worksheets I needed to print out. And after I did it, then realized this looks like a preschool activity, not like an activity for a 1-year-old. And I turned around and my 1-year-old was just eating the paper. So fail, mom, fail. So I turned to what probably many parents do. I turned to screen time. I went to YouTube and I said, educational video for a 1-year-old. I mean, it said educational, right? So he must be learning something. I saw the colors, they were singing the colors, so he must be learning. So, and as a cherry on the top, they were easily entertained. Coco Melon, right? Who's a Coco Melon fan? It's Coco Melon. So I also spend my time shopping because I was a stay-at-home mom, and what else I was going to do? I didn't know what to do with him. So I would just go shopping, and if it said educational and the thing, I was like, add to cart. Montessori inspired, add to cart. Forget the price, add to cart. Montessori, I mean, what is Montessori inspired? Who cares? It must be good because Montessori, I heard it's good. So add to cart. Yes, my husband was not very happy. Yes, I told the Amazon truck to leave them in the back of the house. And I told Amazon to reduce the amount of boxes he would send me. So if I was buying 5 toys, can you just put them all in one box so nobody sees? Okay, I have to ask, let me know in the comments, like, do you ever feel like that? Like, does any of this sound familiar? Do you like spend your time at night just scrolling to see what you can add to the cart because child is bored, so we need something new? 100%, 100%, yes, 100%, yes. Do you know what Montessori inspired is? It's all me, 100%. Anna says, so familiar. Poor husband. For us that have to hide the purchases, not the husbands. Okay, so we're all in the same boat. But thankfully, my life turned around, and I not only got obsessed with how children learn, but I learned that the TV, Mr. YouTube, was not the best teacher. And buying a new toy was not the best way to use my money. I learned through researching, taking courses, reading books, getting play certified. I mean, you can say I became a little obsessed in this, like learning how their brain works and how they played. Sorry, I have to pause. Sandra said, yes, because I'm a preschool teacher. You see, you have an excuse to buy the toys. We don't have that excuse. You're like, it's for the kids. It's for the classroom. But we don't have that. But obsessed, I just got obsessed. And literally everything I learned, I was like, I need to test this out. Here says kids like the real thing. I'm like, let me test that out. So I did kind of learn what we needed was just play, not the toys, and definitely not Mr. YouTube. So I wanted to show you this picture. I trusted in play, and I'm glad I did it. My son is 5. He is starting kindergarten. And I can honestly tell you, I prepared him well enough without ever touching a pencil, ever using a worksheet, and not even doing letter of the week and all those traditional methods. I trusted the process. I trusted that he would learn through play, that I would set up invitations and little curiosity activities so that he could get the knowledge that he needed. Of course, I had a list of what he needed to learn so that I created experiences to get him through those levels. And just this July, he found a pencil on his own and he was starting to write. And I was like, wait, you know how to write? We never practiced how to write on like pencils on paper. We've done it in the shower when it's like the glass gets like little foggy and then you start doing circles and tracing things. That was as much as we did. And now he's starting kindergarten, ready to write. He can read. Like I taught him to read in 3 days when there's all these different programs like there's like a program that's like teach your toddler to read, like a 2-year-old. Don't waste your money. They're not developmentally ready. They will be if you trust the process, and you won't take 6 months trying to teach them how to read. You'll take 3 days. So the way that I share with you is because it's hard to see what you're doing now matters and how is that going to project there. Everybody else out there are sending their kids to preschool. All the preschools are doing A for Apple because it's September and they're coming home with this little A crafts. And when you're at home, you feel a little like, am I doing it right? Because nobody seems to be talking about play, but all the research is talking about play. It's very traditional methods. It's very outdated stuff. So you question yourself. So I want to tell you from my own personal experience, I trusted in play. I was coached by the coach who was certifying me through play. And I trusted the process. And I can tell you, I'm on the other side right now. And I'm so glad I did the way that I did it. So trust in yourself. You can do it. So luckily for you, I love to teach what I learn. And today I'm going to share with you some simple strategies how you can teach using play through simple activities. You're going to use your environment to create that inner love for learning. You're going to not do it without, like, you're not going to do it with worksheets. We're not going to do it with tons of prep work. And we're going to simplify cleanup, because I know cleanup, it's a very scary word. We don't want to clean our house, let alone someone else's activity. So we're going to tackle cleanup today. Not the house or the bathrooms, but the activities. So let me see. So before we get started, I just say we are all born with the power and the drive to learn. Like, we don't teach children how to walk or talk. They just do that for their own survival, so that they have a way to communicate, to express themselves. The same way a kid is going to learn how to write and to read is because they need it. They want to express themselves through the written word, through pictures. They want to see stories. Stories are magical. Books are magical. Like my favorite place is the bookstore, not the library, because I like to own the books. And as a humans, we want to learn things, right? It's just what happens when your child is starting to walk. I want you to write it in the chat. Like, what did you do when your child started to stand up and starting to take those first steps? Did you grab his foot and you're like, this goes first, and then you put the next one? Probably not. So tell me in the chat, what are the things that you did to support your child as they were starting to walk? You probably put soft floors. You supported them by arranging the environment, right? So we took out that glass table that they could bump into, right? We worked with the environment so that we could provide them the space that they needed to work through that skill. I was there to catch her. Yes. But something happens as they grow and we start getting this noise from out there. We start to believe we have to take over their learning in some way. We stop trusting them. We stop trusting their inner drive to learn. So today I'm going to invite you to give your children back the power to grow, learn, and thrive. Adding diaper boxes to be the right height to cruise. Yeah, that's a great idea. So we prepare the environment to support them in what they were showing us they were ready to learn. So kids, they learn natural. They're natural learners. They learn by observing you, by listening, by exploring, experimenting, and asking questions. Even when they cannot talk, they're asking questions. They're pointing, they're asking questions to themselves. It's always, and I said it on day one a lot because I want you to memorize it. It's always the what if, what happens when, right? So we talked about on Monday, and I'll repeat it again, they develop from the neck down and the chest out. That means they learn by moving, they learn by touching, they learn by making discoveries. They need their whole body to be engaged in the activity for them to learn. It's not just about what we can feed into that brain. It's about what we can give them the experience so the learning can happen, so that the connections in the brain can start going and things start making sense. There's a poem or something. It says that if you want to give something, if you want a child to learn something, you put it, I'm going to have to put it again because I can't remember. It says if you want them to know something, put it in their hands. If you want them to put it in their hand, put it in their heart. And if you want to put them in their mind, can't remember. Something like that. You have to put it in their hand for them to put it in their heart, for them to put it in their mind. So if you want them to learn the letter A because Miss Alexa is awesome, you bring them to my class, put him in the hand. Then they love me, so you put it in their heart. And then they'll remember me and they'll remember the A because they'll put it in their mind. And it works like that on everything, not just with me. Okay? So, Montessori and Reggio. So there's three philosophies, play philosophies that come from the old times, right? We have Waldorf, which we talk about on Monday. And today I'm going to talk a little bit of Montessori and Reggio. So Montessori, they were both from Italy, and they both have something very interesting in common. They have different names for it, but I'm just going to use one of them. They say they use nature as their classroom, or they use nature as their teacher. And that is gold, because especially if we're teaching our kids outside of a pre-K, that means we have the best classroom in the world. We're not attached to this 4x like these four walls and we have to do everything inside. We actually can go outside and use that as our environment. And today we are going to learn how to do that. Oh, I need to do that. So how do we facilitate that natural drive to learn, to explore, to observe, right? Miss Alexa said that they're natural learners. So then as parents, what do we do? So we trust their natural development to drive, like their natural drive to learn. And we become what I call it, play facilitators or facilitators of play. So our job stops being like, what I'm going to teach you today and put in your brain to like, I'm going to facilitate the environment and help you with the things that you can't, right? If you want to build things, you cannot go and grab the building materials. I am the play facilitator, and that's what I'm going to help you with. That's how I'm going to help you nurse. Just like when they were starting to walk, we created the environment for them to work on that skill. Same thing with any other skill you are developing and working. So we're going to become play facilitators and support their natural drive to learn, doing three things. So first, like I said, we're going to use our environment as the teacher or as our classroom. We're going to simplify our lives by creating easy activities that require low supplies. Ooh, I see eyes opening up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, I know. I got you, Mama. And third, we're going to provide art and sensory play because it is important for their development. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it today. And by the end of today, put this on high, I will convince some of you non-believers of messy play to join me in the most fun form of play, especially in toddlerhood. Then they grow up and they don't get as messy and it's not as fun. So I know you're tired. We are tired caregivers. I'm going to show you my tips that I actually charge for in my sensory teacher program. I'm going to teach you today for free how I make that cleanup easier. So 3 ways to use the environment as the teacher. Toddlers hear the word no 1 million times a day. Okay, that's not from research, probably it's not 1 million, but can you say they hear the word no a lot? They do. In order to learn through play, they need to have a safe space to explore. A space they can ask questions, to work through those hypotheses, right? Those what ifs. What if I do that? I saw my mom cooking. I wonder how that looks like. I wonder how that feels like. So I go to my little toy kitchen and I'm going to recreate what I saw my mom doing it in a safe place, because I know I'm not going to get burned because it's not the real thing, but it is my safe place to work through those what ifs that came to my mind when I saw my mom cooking. So for this, we need to create what I call yes environments or yes spaces, right? They need to have their own little space to feel secure. And I'm not saying you have to, get one full room and make it a playroom. You can do a corner, you can do a desk. Like they need to have it could be a corner in their own room, but they need to have a designated space that they know it's theirs, it's safe, and they're not going to hear the word no 100 times. So they need that for their development. So nature offers so many opportunities to work on many milestones and skills that your child is working through. So I put here 3 examples how we're going to use our outside environment, right? We have our yes environment inside. Now we're going to go outside. So if you have hills or any uneven terrains, these are great for practicing motor skills, like those big body movements, those big muscles that we need to develop. Remember, we need strong core so that later on they can ride, so that they can tie their shoes and all of that stuff. Plants, leaves, seeds provide great sensory experience. The color learning, math concepts like big and small, heavy and light. So it's a lot you can use it a lot for fine motor skills as well. Like here I have a Play-Doh that we colored in brown, and we had little seeds and plants that we found, and we were just working our little finger muscles, just poking them and making prints on the Play-Doh and just letting him explore. And gardening, like anything that's gardening, it's also a great experience. I kill every plant I buy, but I buy them and we water them together, and we try and we look at them and we observe and we see if we put too much water and we kill them, or maybe next time we need to do less. And it offers such a classroom for both of us, right? And all of these activities, the prep is minimal. What you just have to be willing to go out in the summer heat, in the cold days, and and offer them those, facilitate those opportunities, right? You need to go and buy the little plant. It's okay if you kill it, like we did, that you're gonna learn, and maybe you're gonna love it, and maybe you won't kill it, and then maybe you become gardeners together, and then that's something you two share. So you need to get low, you need to go at their pace, you need to listen to their questions, see what they're pointing at, see what they're observing, and you will be amazed how learning is happening right in front of us, because you will be surprised and amazed by the little things that you and me take for granted every day. Like the most random things, a leaf being pushed by the wind, flowing around and making loops. They'll be amazed. And you're like, it's just a leaf, I've seen it 100 times. But you'll be amazed if you slow down and you just try to see the world through their views. And that's something I teach in my nature class, but you can do it right at home. Just see the world through their eyes. So I want you to look at your home as your classroom as well, right? Every corner of your home can be used for a new experience. We often think that we need to do this at home chore, like this, without them. But we talked about yesterday, they want the real thing. They want to be part of our world. So we can involve them. So sometimes we think of all of this, like I have to do the laundry and I have to wash the dishes and I have to mop the floor, as work, because for us it's work. But for them, I've never seen a mop like that spins around when I push this, that when I step on it. For them, it's play. They want to explore it. So, hey, you want to mop the floors? Be my guest, go mop the floor. So actually, and I, now that I see the mopping pictures, like sometimes I even have to hide when I mop, because we fight for the mop. He wants to mop, but I want to mop faster, but I only have one mop. So I just order a second mop so that he can mop, I can mop. And at the end of the day, I'm doing my work chores and he's having play and he's exploring. So don't be afraid to involve them. Does it take you longer to mop the floor? Probably. But I mean, do you rather have to go print a bunch of stuff and prep it and things and prepare for him and set up the table and so he can play for 5 minutes and he can dump it because he's not into that? And then you still have to go mop the floor. So sometimes just involving them makes things easier. Sometimes put them to bed and mop the floor faster, like, I do sometimes. So we're here to provide this type of experiences. So don't be afraid to involve them, invite them and do things together. Try to find things that you do enjoy together. Maybe you don't enjoy it when you're mopping the floor together, but you love that he helps you put the laundry inside the washing machine. So then involve them with that. I'm not saying involve them on everything, but test a few things and see what you can do together and that you enjoy, because we enjoy their company. That's why they're with us. So enjoy them, okay? Enjoy them. It's sweeping for us. Dee says it's sweeping for us. Yeah, they love if you get the Swiffer mop, you can actually take one piece of it and it turns into a little kid's Swiffer mop. It's so cute because then it's not that big stick that you're like, you're gonna bump into the wall. Like, it's smaller. So they can do the Swiffer, you can do the regular mop. That's also good. So now that we know that the outdoors and our home chores and activities will make our job easier by involving them, and that children learn best when they explore using their whole bodies and engage multiple senses at once. Let's play a game. Right? It's all about play. And I want you to be super active on that chat. I'm going to be listening you. So tell me in the chat, what is this? What do you think a child will think when they say this? These items laid on a table for them. What do you think we're doing? Snow. Clouds. We use it to paint. Rabbit's tails. Paint. Paintbrush. Paint. Okay. Yeah, a child might say, how is this pom-pom attached? I wonder if I can pull it out. And what would happen? Oh, it's out. I have a pin and I have a cotton ball. I wonder if I can put it back in. How do I put it back in? Right? Some of them, depending on the age, might be like, is this food? Can I eat it? Can I taste it? Can I put it in my mouth? My son will taste it first. Yes, the first sense that we use for exploration is the sense of taste. So if your child is using the sense of taste to explore, you need to take that as your cue and offer a lot of sensory tasting experiences with your dinners, with your activities. So what if I tell you that it's January and the supplies are actually to make a snowman? What do you think the goal of this project is? Right? To do this fake snowman craft, you need to gather the materials. We need to print out the template. We need to cut out the pieces. You need to lay out the materials. And while you're doing this, make sure that your child is not getting in trouble trying to eat the garbage, right? So then you invite the child to play. So I'm not sure about you. I'm just going to call myself the lazy mom because I'm like, I'm already tired and I haven't even printed that thing. It just seems like a lot of work. And at this point, I'm thinking, does my 1 or 2-year-old child even know what a snowman is? And I tell you that because I live in Florida, right? So I don't even have snow. We never seen snow. My son has seen snow. So he has no idea what the heck is a snowman, because when we're driving to the grocery store, he's not looking out the window in front of everybody's houses. That's a snowman, right? So we know better now. We know that we are going to use our environment to create some learning opportunities. So if it's January and outside, there's little snowmen as you drive by. So how can we use the environment to teach my child? So I want you to quickly, if you have any ideas, tell me in the chat. It's January. I said, you know, use your environment as your best teacher. So go outside. What is it that you're going to do? Do you have any ideas? I don't know, I just want to stay inside. It's cold. So maybe you can go outside and you can feel the snow because the snow is cold. You can collect the snow and melt it and see what happens. That's a science experiment right there. You can show him how to compact it, and maybe you can teach him how to build that snowman. So you observe how you can maybe make footprints, and then you play to make footprints together. You can make a snowman together, right? You can teach him what this snowman is and what it needs and the eyes, and it just creates an opportunity for language development. So yes, using our environment as a teacher, it's a lot simpler than having to do the first example, right? Like to print it to make that snowman, which is actually a kindergarten activity. So to do the fake snowman, that a toddler probably won't even understand that that's the real thing, that's the variation of it. Like they need the real stuff. They're not developmentally ready to try to figure out, oh, that represents the snowman. That's why if you see in Montessori teaching, a lot of the picture things that they do, a lot of the stuff that they do, they use real pictures. My Learning Binder 1, this is for 1-year-old, I use real pictures. We're learning the human body, it's real pictures. We're using the animals of the zoo, they're real pictures because they need that. They don't need the fake snowman. They don't get it. It looks cute, Grandma will love it and put it on the refrigerator door. But the learning, there's so much more learning you can do differently and a lot simpler. So I invite you to look outside your window. You know, what ideas can you get right from your window? No matter the month, right? If it's January and you have snow, go for it. Here in January, we actually have a lot of squirrels that come out. We have a lot of baby duckies because our seasons are a little different than the traditional, like our spring babies actually happen in January. And I only realized that until I started looking out the window and be like, oh, wait, it's frog season and it's not March. So keep an eye on that outdoors. So children will always prefer the real deal. Have you seen that experiment where they put the baby in the high chair and they're like, here's the baby toy. And then you give them the remote control and they go for the remote control. And you're like, okay, lucky guess. Here are the car keys for mama, or here are the toy keys. And they will go for the toy keys because they want the real thing. So why are we complicating our lives trying to recreate these magical fake things when literally all you need is just dump them in the snow? Like, you want snow here? Learn, right? Like, you just use the real thing. I mean, we don't give them the keys because the keys are dirty, but we can give them, we can make a box and go to the dollar store and get a remote control, get a little flashlight, get a little wooden spoon. Like, you can just give them the real deal. That's a better way to use your money than the educational toy made out of plastic that will have less sensorial exposure as well. So children will always prefer the real world. So start asking yourself first, okay, before you go and set up an activity, what is the skill that you want them to learn? Look outside your window and then you can see how you can support that. So start with the skill. That means they would prefer the real snow over the Pinterest craft because the real experience will give them more sensory input. So is the smell of the snow, is the texture of the snow, is the taste of the snow, is the changes in matter when it melts. So when an experience is real, you're going to engage more than one sense. And that's what we want. So I'll give you another Montessori lesson here. Do you know why Montessori doesn't use plastic in their toys? Because plastic, if it's this big or is this small, kind of weights the same. But if I give you a bowl of wood, the smaller bowl and the bigger bowl will have much different weights. You put it in their mouth, it's gonna taste different. If you smell it, so when you use natural materials, it engages more of the senses. So that's why they use wool and leathers and anything that's natural, is because it brings more sensory experience to the child than the plastic one. Do I have plastic toys? Yes. Do I use them in my class? Yes, they're easier to clean. But I know if I want a bigger, more rich experiences, then when I go to the thrift store, I collect the wooden baskets, the wooden trays, the wicked baskets, because that's going to give them a richer experience and more real world. So Reggio, give you another lesson. Do we have time? Yes. Reggio actually does only real items in their schools. So if they want a table, they use real tables, not kid-sized tables. They use tables. They use real telephones in their play. They use real kitchen utensils in their play kitchen. They're all about the real deal. They're a safe place to explore using real materials. And I am a Reggio obsessed. So when I saw that, I was like, awesome. So Reggio is beautiful. And they do a lot of sensory. So the problem is not the supplies that we're offering, but then that we need to have a clear intention behind it. So if the goal of this activity was not to explore the snow, but instead our goal was to explore the materials, because that's the skill we want them to learn, how to use these materials, how to explore paint, then we need to match that goal with the activity. We can provide those same pom-poms with the clips, maybe some trays with paint and some papers, maybe some white paint, some googly eyes. And then we just let them explore freely the texture of the paint, how it squeezes out, how it spreads out. And if the child then decides to create their own version of a snowman, then that's okay. Because maybe they always see it when they go to grandma's house. Then it means something to them. Versus mama saw it on Pinterest. He has no idea what mama's talking about. And now we're supposed to make a snowman to put in the refrigerator. Okay, sometimes their snowman will just look like a blob of paint because then they put the googly eyes and then on top they put more paint, and that's fine. Because process art is the most beautiful way of communication. You will learn so much if you just let them explore. Is it gonna get messy? Yes. You want a healthy meal at home? Gotta mess up the pan. So I want you to write it down. When you choose the activity, we need to start from the goal. What is the skill we want to teach them? And then you pick out the activity that matches their development, right? What they can understand. So what do we want them to work on? What are we trying to expose them to? What are we trying to teach them? So is this activity that I'm choosing going to enhance his inner drive to learn? Is he going to engage more of one sense? Like, how can I engage more than one sense in this activity? That is your challenge as the play facilitator. That is what I want you to spend your time thinking about. How can you explore the sense of taste? So it's a water bin. Oh, but I could add tea bags in it, and now it smells. So now I have two senses working, right? I have the texture of the water, and I have the smell of the lemons or the tea bags. So that is your challenge. You want to help them discover the world, right? That is what we're doing, not just look pretty Pinterest stuff. So nature on our daily home task is one way to teach with less supplies. Now let's talk about sensory, right? I talked to you a little bit of sensory, and you're still like, I'm not buying it. It's just messy. So I want to retell you, right? Sensory is good. Sensory is needed. Sensory is easy because you engage a lot of the senses in one simple activity. So you stimulate them with the touch and the smell and the taste and the sight and the hear. And if you do edible, even, taste. So sensory is an easy way to engage all of the senses when you do an activity. And sensory play not just uses the senses, but they explore the environment safely. They are free to explore and to make those hypotheses. They develop their imagination. It develops their creative thinking, their ability to problem solve and experiment with solutions. So you ask me, sensory play is awesome. What happened? Wait. This thing is like sliding over. Stop moving. There you go. So my life is sensory play. I became locally and digitally known as the queen of messy play, and I would wear a crown if I had one. I should make one. I wear that very proudly because I know the benefits that the kids get through that play. So if there's a sensory recipe out there, I have tried it. I have documented it. I have tested it. And if I loved it, and if I think it's good, I have probably added it to my classes and my programs. So when you see those Instagram reels and you send it to me, I probably already did that. I just haven't put it on the reel yet. So even though sensory play is an activity that engages the senses, and it has so many benefits, you're still saying like, yeah, but I don't want to clean it. Like, it's just so hard. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So creating sensory play. So this is, okay, you can't tell anyone this, okay? This is my top secret. I'm going to tell you how to make it easier. Okay, here I have to do a side note, okay? Normal teachers will tell you a few tips. I only preach it, I don't do it, okay? I don't live by it, but I will be the messenger and I will tell you because they could work for you, okay? They say A little goes a long way. You can experiment with paint with little quantities. They say pour as much as you're willing to clean up. Maybe I am willing to clean up way more. You don't have to make 70 pounds of slime to explore what slime feels like. You can do a little one, okay? But like I said, don't look at me as a role model. I am the messenger on that one. I will proudly make 70 pounds of slime or Play-Doh and go all in with it. I don't do a small water bin, like a little Tupperware with water so they could play like you saw Amanda. I literally bought a doggy pool for my sensory classes just because I go big. That's how I do. That's how I know. But you don't have to have a doggy pool. You can have a Tupperware for water play. So there's a few things that I did learn making 70 pounds of slime and buying a doggy pool and going big and having at one point I had 18 kids at once in my class for sensory. Okay, I had 1, 2, and 3-year-old, not 3, 1 and 2-year-olds, 18 at a time, exploring sensory. So there's a few things about cleanup because I had to do the cleanup by myself of 18 kids, right? They would come, they play, they get messy, and they say, bye, Miss Alexa. So there's a few things that I learned and I want to share with you. And that's my secret. So to avoid the child swimming in it, unless you are in the doggy pool, you need to create a space, like a layer between the activity and yourself. And you need to raise it high. If you have it on the floor, they're going to work on top of themselves with the paint or whatever activity that you have. If you have a kids table, if you use a kitchen helper, I use a kitchen helper for everything. If you use a stool and you lift the activity up, the activity is to their chest. So now it's a lot easier because they can move freely, they can walk because they are, remember, they're learning with their whole bodies, but the activity is just up here. So it makes it a lot easier. If you have a crawling baby, you can use high chairs, or you can go all in and explore with the whole senses, the whole body. And that's also, if you ask me, very, very fun. So when possible, go outside. I had to go outside because of COVID to do my classes from the Reggio school. And I never went back because it makes it so much simpler. Like if water spills in the grass, hey, the grass will grow. If I have a hose that is just easy accessible, I can just hose things down. So it just makes it a lot easier. And I know not everybody has access to the outdoors. Sometimes the weather is very cold, so it's not suitable. So I have seen parents that they use the bathroom as their little safe area, inside the shower, inside the bathtub. But I do want to give you a little warning or a little flag. If you are going to use that as your space, be very careful on the materials that you use, because let's say if you're using shaving cream and shaving cream gets on that bathtub floor, it's going to become very slippery. So I say if you do it in the bathtub, have them being sitting down and maybe with one of those portable tables or something like that, so that you reduce the risk of falling. But if you can do it outside, I say go for it. It makes my life easier. I cannot do a class indoors. It's so hard. Well, it's a lot harder when you're dealing with 7 pounds of slime. So save yourself the extra floor cleanup by covering your areas that the mess will do, right? Things are going to spill, things are going to fall. So prepare yourself. So here's a few things that I have used. I have used beach covers, which is the one you see in the picture. I use tarps, which they're very cheap and they're like plastic, so you can hose them up really quickly with like a broom. I have done, when I did them indoors at the Reggio school, I used to use table covers for like the parties, and I would tape it on the floor. So at the end of the class, all I would do was just like clean it up, put it in a bowl and throw it away. And I didn't have to clean the floor. And the one that I use and I recommend a lot is the one that I use in my classes I don't know if you've seen it, they're called high chairs mats. I call them messy mats. They are very small. It's a little plastic, but not slippery mat that you usually put under the high chairs, so to catch all the spills from the kids. I use those mats as a quick kind of, okay, we're going to do the activity. You put it out there, and which brings me to the next one. It sets a boundary, right? This is our messy area. This is our messy mat. And this is where the activity stays. Okay, just because they're exploring with their whole body doesn't mean they get to do whatever they want, wherever they want, on every wall, on every door. No, we set boundaries, we prepare our area, and we teach them. And some of this stuff does require repetition. Okay, I repeated it over and over and over again, and now I can literally cook, put shaving cream on a tray, turn myself around, and I know that shaving cream is not gonna go anywhere. But it does require repetition. So you have to always do it. Always get out the tray, always get out the mat. Trays are one of my favorite things. I started doing it in class, and then I brought it home, and I'm like, this is magic. No, the other way. I did it at home, then I brought it to class. Trays create a visual boundary. They can literally see it. It's a different color, it's raised up, and my mess is inside. Always. And then what you can say, oh, you know, the rice stays in the tray. The rice stays in the tray. You can play with the rice, but inside the tray. You can play with the shaving cream, but we're just going to spread it here. Repetition, repetition. It's okay to set boundaries, and it's okay to step away and let them explore, but they need to set that boundary. Okay, I know we are, okay. Here's the thing. It's 12 because I talk too much. We are supposed to be done. So I respect if some of you have to go. There will be a replay and you can see it at your own time. But I do have the free toy section, which is our last section. And I do want to go through that because the gift that I have at the end has to do with this. So if you have to leave, I totally get it. I understand. You can catch the replay to see this part and to download your gifts. And if not, go for it. So I'm going to go for it. I just want to make sure that I respect your time, but I do want to give you this because this is favorite section. And guess what? You'll have permission to go to Pinterest for this one. So, okay. So if people know who I am and people relate to me, they say, okay, you're all about sensory and all about nature. And yes, because my classes are all about that. But behind my doors, inside my house, there's a third element, which is what my husband calls free toys. Okay. And I guess he calls it free toys because he was like, stop buying stuff. I'm like, look, I'm using the Amazon box in a useful way. So free toys are toys that are activities that we create from things that you have from around the house. It focuses a lot of those gross motor skills and even those fine motor skills, but we use things that are just around the house. So we often use this when the days are rainy and we can't go outside, when I am very low energy and I just need him to play with something different and new. Anything that's new, it will spark something. That's why they say, put some toys away. And then when you bring them back, it feels like Christmas again. It's the same thing. They've never seen a parking lot, but a parking lot made out of a box, and you put numbers. Now you have number recognition and you have a free toy, and you just give them cars that you probably already have. So favorite stores to shop this at. So the recycling bin, Tupperware cabinet, Amazon packages. And now my neighbors know that I do this type of toys. And they're so sweet because they will come knocking at my door. And if they have like something that's recycling, but it has like an interesting look, they'll come and they'll ask me if I want to keep it before I throw it away. So love you, neighbors. Recycling for the best. My husband is also very happy with that change. So here's a few ideas that you can do at home so that you can add some learning opportunities using little supplies or things from like the recycling bin. And I don't have like this big storage of stuff. I usually just be like, I need an activity. And I go to the recycling and I'll try to find something. So let's see. So like I said, you are allowed to go on Pinterest because Pinterest has some great ideas, but you have to also be aware. I saw once a lady who made a full play kitchen out of boxes. I think she took like 7 days building that thing. So she does not qualify for a free, easy toys, quick idea. It's still recyclable, it's still cool, but I don't want you spending 7 days making a DIY unless that's your joy, that's your form of play, and you enjoy doing that. So if you enjoy doing that, go for it, because I'll show you something that I spent 7 days building and it was awesome. But that's not fit in today. Okay, making a maze with using your Amazon packages. So now they don't, very rarely they'll come in the bubble wrap, but the whole idea was to open them up and expose the bubble wrap. So if you're moving or something, they have the little bubble wrap. What you do is you're creating a sensory experiences with their feet. Kids are more sensible with their feet than with their hands. And it's something that's clean. So if your child doesn't like to get messy, they're not loving the whole paint thing, you can create some sensory exploration using bubble wrap and things with their feet. And this one, what I did is just I taped it to the floor, created a maze, and I put toys around it, and he would just have to go through the maze and collect them and put them in a basket at the end. And I was sitting in the sofa and he was doing the running. So low energy for me, high energy for him. Another easy activity is when you are organizing things. So visual discrimination means they can identify the difference between one thing and the other one. So this time we dumped out all the shoes and he had to match which shoe goes with what. The red one was like an easy one because of the color, but then some of them were very similar. So it was a challenging activity. So I was organizing and taking out all the shirts that didn't fit him anymore, and he was learning using his shoes. That one I didn't find in the recycling. I found it in the closet. So boxes are one of the things that will save you. No matter the age, no matter the time, it's like one of the best things you can always have in hand. On the first one, I created a little door and I tried to make a bus looking, the wheels on the bus. I mean, it just looks cute. But what he liked is that it had a door that opened and closed. So he would get in the box, out of the box, in the box, out of the box. He complained because the bus was too small, but that was the box that I had. And then I went super duper crazy on our Halloween party, and I actually put 2 boxes together and I created a sensory tunnel. And that one I did spend longer because I had water beads on the floor. I had all things of texture from the dollar store around, and the babies would go from one side to the next. Again, it was just recycled stuff. I did go to the dollar store for that, but we reused that the next year. Not the box, but the stuff. So things in and out. So there's the cause and effect is something that they're going to repeat over and over and over again. And these are 3 examples that I did. I had pasta in a Parmesan container that was empty. So the holes are very small. And this was when I was learning how to color pasta, but you don't have to color the pasta. And he was working on his concentration and in his independent play. His independent play skills were being built up then. So he would take one pasta and he would put it in the hole. And there's 3 holes or 4. So he could get to choose. He had the freedom to choose what color into what hole. And that kept him entertained for a long time. I probably kept that toy for over a year because he used it so much. And then I gave it to a friend who had a baby. And I was like, I want to gift you the gift of independent play. And I gave him that. The other one is in and out, same concept. It comes in through the little milk box, and I made a hole in the bottom so he could easily bring it out. Because with the pasta container, he had to ask me to open it up to get it out. So with the milk carton, I was like, you can put it in and you can see how it falls, and you can do it over again. And the Kleenex box, this one took me a long 3 minutes because this is recreation of a Montessori a Montessori toy that you've probably seen. You put the ball in one side and it rolls out. So this was a Kleenex box, a tissue box, and I did have to take some time to try to figure out how to make a ramp so that the ball would roll down. And what I did, look how on that one I did the tray. I set up the boundary. I didn't want those wooden balls all over the house. And instead of me doing an easy activity, I was going to be chasing balls under the couch. So instead, what I did is I put it in a tray so that all the balls will stay in the area. So I didn't have to be chasing anything. And you can also make tools, right? You can use learning activities like a color matching game with pom-poms and an egg carton. And the other one that we did was one of my very popular posts is how to make paintbrushes with toilet paper tubes, or with, what's it called? Not the toilet paper, the one in the kitchen. The kitchen one, not the toilet paper, but the kitchen one. So there's paper towel. Thank you. So you can make tools and you can make games. So free toys we're not constantly saying, don't use it like this and don't use it like that, as if we were with a toy that we want to take care of because we don't want it to break. We give them a little more exploration to use them in the ways that they want. They have a little more freedom, which is one thing that I love about these free toys. And if they break it because they're like, I wonder how, I don't know, with these little flower things, if I can break it. And you're not going to be like, oh my God, you broke the paintbrush. It's a toilet paper thing. Like, you can throw it away and it goes back into the garbage when you found it. So I like it because we're combining real materials that have real textures, that have real smells, and you're giving them the freedom to get those learnings on their own. We're giving them back the power to learn, to grow, and to thrive. And with that, I'm going to leave you with Alexa's Easy Play commandment. So this is kind of a review of what we talked about. We start with the skill that you want to teach. So before you get on Pinterest, what is it that you want to teach? You look outside your window and your environment to support that teaching so that you can engage the senses. You can keep it simple, keep it real. That should be a tagline. Keep it simple, keep it real. Don't be afraid to engage them in your house and your chores and your to-do list. And learn to love sensory play. It engages so many senses in just one easy activity. So it's like check, 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 check. And set up your area to making cleanup easier. Always stack up little recycling materials. So if you have like a little box or a little tub, always keep something handy because you're gonna need them, or they will come in handy on your rainy days and your low energy days. And I actually created a PDF. So I'm gonna stop the sharing. Stop sharing. You see me? So with those commandments, I actually made a little printout, which is part of today's gifts. I did this morning. This was not part of the gift, but it is now. So you're going to be able to download that so that you always have it present. Start with a skill, use your environment, keep it simple, engage them in your work, and all of the commandments. And then your actual gift is actually a booklet of of activities. So this one is called Easy Toddler Activity Ideas Using Less Supplies. So it takes what we talked about of going into our recycling bin and finding those activities. And I think there's like 10 or 12 that you can do. There's nature stuff, there's little sensory bins with things you have at home. So it brings me to your challenge for the day, right? Because talk is just talk unless we kind of execute it, right? We can't be afraid of doing these things. So you can pick any of the activities we talked about or any of the ones from the book. See if you have, maybe you don't have the box, but you have water bottles. And with water bottles, you can do these flashlights, and all you have is a little bit of food coloring. And these are super fun to do. So go through the book, pick one, see what you have. And I want you to share it either on the Facebook group, the WhatsApp group, send it on Instagram, share with you what you chose, how you did it, how you like it, was it challenging? And on Friday, I will pick one of you that shares it, and I'll give you a very special gift because that's how I do things. Gift is my second love language. Sensory is first, and gift is what if I give you slime? That would be like 2 in 1. So don't forget to share it. At this time, I know we're a little over. I'm going to go through the questions. We're going to answer those Q&As. I haven't looked at the chat in a while. So this time, this is what we're going to do. But I want to thank you, everyone, for joining, for coming along and learning a little bit about my world and how I see learning through play happening and using your days, your magic, your outdoors. And I hope that you join me in teaching our kids about this world. So this time I'm going to,
There's one question.
okay, do I go through the chat? Saying thank you so much for your generosity. Yes. Remember, I charge for those cleaning tips. So. Okay. Where am I? Q&A.
How to set boundaries with a 1-year-old.
How to set boundaries with a 1-year-old. So the same way you would set it up with any age, with repetition. Okay. It's all about repetition and it's all about visual cues. So at the beginning, your working area might need to be a little bigger because they cannot work so small. That's why when they get to kindergarten and first grade, they're able to sit and write with little letters. But before they learn, right, they write big letters. It's the same way. They need a lot of movement. So maybe you don't do the high chair mat. You use a bigger beach towel mat, something they can move around. They are either learning to walk or just learn to walk. And that skill, it's something they love to explore and to do. So they're going to want to do a lot more walking than maybe a 3-year-old that has been doing it for a few years. So you can do the activity in a bigger area, very visual, contrasting a bright blue mat. And it's like, this is our activity area. And maybe if you see that they're walking too much, you can set up 2 stations. So you can have the bin on this side and the water bin on that side. And the job is to go from one side to the other. So you can use movement to your advantage. And repetition, 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 and they'll get it. They're very, very, very smart kids. They will get it. And at the end, always a tray. And this one, I'm going to tell you it's repetition for you. Because you're going to be the one that, like, I don't know where is the tray. I have to move 7 trays just to get the tray. Always have it handy. Because if they see it constantly being shown up, what's going to happen, and I tell you from my own experience, my son will not play with Play-Doh unless I give him a tray. He came from preschool when he was doing the summer camp and he said, did you know they don't use a tray? Like he was like, I cannot believe it. So I was like, excuse me, teacher, did you know cleanup is easier for you if you provide them a tray? And then she was like, oh my God, Alex, like I can't believe this. They don't teach me this at school. I'm like, yeah. So yes. More in the chat.
Which are the skills
that we have to develop for a child 3 years old? So that's when we are going to talk about on day 3. It's all about bringing all of this together, right? I'm going to give you the high level of what we should be working out, teaching out. And then the program itself goes deep into each of the skills. And I teach you how to teach the skills through play. And then I give you just a master class and then the different activities. But on day 3, we're going to talk about that high overview so that you go and you're like, okay, now I know what type of activities or what type of skills I need to work on so that when I see an activity on Pinterest or on Instagram, I can say, yes, that's for a 2-year-old. I can do that. Instead of, I don't know, that's for a 5-year-old, but I'm going to give it to my 1-year-old. And then your 1-year-old just doesn't engage. And you're like, mom failed. Like the activity doesn't work. It doesn't work for your child's age. So day 3, we're going deep into the learning on day 3. Like that's going to be, can I sign up for one of your sensory classes? Where are you located? So this semester, I'm only doing nature because my 100% focus is on this online program that I'm doing. It's mentoring the moms that are at home that need me and my guidance. So unfortunately, the only thing I can offer you, I'm local to South Florida, we do our events in Davie. We are doing a Halloween event. October 2016, somewhere in October 20? October 28th, we're doing a Halloween sensory event. And that is my gift to the community, but my commitment this year, it's 100% with the moms that are at home, that need the guidance, and that want my support. So that's why I'm only doing nature, because I have to do nature. Great. I want to sign up. Okay. I'll have Danny put the link to the event in the chat so that you can have access. But if you go to my website, kidactivitieswithalexa.com, and there's a tab on the menu says classes and events, you'll see nature class and you'll see the Halloween event. And I think there's a Winter Wonderland Christmas event. Yeah. All right. All right. Want me to sing to you again? Goodbye. It's over. I wish the time went slower. Oh, someone said at the beginning that their kids enjoyed the singing in the beginning. So if you go to the YouTube channel of Kid Activities with Alexa, there's a few story times that I've done. We recorded some circle times that I've done at the parks that you can watch together. There's recipes in there. You can learn how to do Play-Doh recipe for the bathtub. There's very, very few videos out there, but there's some good stuff there. So if you enjoy the singing at the beginning and the songs and things like that, you'll find a few of those that you can sit down together and enjoy. So thank you so much. Well, thank you very much. I think that's it. This was day 2. Then we're on day 3. So remember, get your little goodie gift, try it out. The activity might not go as planned, but they'll use it in their own way. And what you have to think about when that happens is like, wow, my child is so creative. I would have never thought of doing that. And that's the wonder of play, that they'll get to teach us and show us a little bit of what's happening in their brain. So thank you so much for joining. Sorry I ran over, but I think we had an amazing, amazing, amazing class. Thank you for your participation. And I'll see you Friday for day 3, where we're going to be talking about playing with a purpose and what to teach at each age. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye. It's over. I wish the time. Come on, Daddy. Come on, Daddy. Let's play some fun. Let's stretch our arms. It's time to say goodbye.
Now you can see her.
I will see. Oh, you want to see me? Again. This is what I do. Can you see me?
Yes,
Let's
you can.
wave goodbye with our hands. Goodbye, my friends. I'll see you Friday. Let's say, okay, you have to do this one. Goodbye with our feet. Ready? Goodbye. Goodbye. It was so great to meet. I'll see you, everybody, on Friday. Bye-bye.